It was the best death. It was the best death.
My time here is done. We've all got a number. We've all got a number.
Everyone will die once, so we have to get it right the first time.
Positivity is what it's all about. You can get through anything.
I'm Mike Bell, and I'm here living in Perth. I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer, and as it panned out, I went to see the oncologist, and he told me it was terminal. You got the ball. There you go. Let me throw it. Once he told me, he said, "Look, I'm sorry to," and I said, "It's not your fault." Look here. Let me throw the ball. I'll throw the ball. There we go. I'll throw the ball.
Most people will tell us they wish to die at home, and that's our primary focus in this care provision. They're working 24 hours a day. They're not on call, they're actually out and about in the suburbs driving their silver chain cars, responding to calls.
Hi, Carol.
You all seem very happy.
Come in. Hi, Susie. How are you? Good to see you. Come in. Your home, your own environment, and you're here and you get treated in your own home environment, and you're not just another a patient. Come and have a seat there. Susie, grab a seat if you will. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is just too much. Nothing is too much. And that is what helped you.
So how's your pain at the moment then?
Oh, we'll, again, probably around about 2 or 3, Carol.
We visit frequently and regularly, if there's, depending on the need. We have counsellors, chaplains, volunteers, social workers, doctors, care aides, as well as nurses. Life still goes on while you're dying. Bills need to be paid, the fridge needs to be filled, all those things. And we have a lot of carers and volunteers who help with that as well. That's all good, Mike.
Yeah.
I think we just travel with them. We don't interfere with what their wishes are, but we support them to achieve their goals.
So go out with a bang, that's what I say. just enjoy. Yeah. Lindy was my soulmate. Lindy and I have known each other since 1972. I was the happiest man in the world. You see, look at the smiles. Look at the smiles. Even laughing at our wedding, look at this. And we had Amy, and we had such a great family bond. It was just wonderful. The hardest part now is Amy. Because of the fact that she's lost her mum not too long ago, and now she's going to lose me. And it makes it so hard. When Lindy went, she had been in good hands. She had been in good hands. Carol was there, and now I've got Carol. Carol's looking after me. So I'd sooner be in my own environment than be in the hospital, and that's exactly what Lindy wanted to do as well. She got a wish. She got a wish, and that's my wish.
It's humane. It's the most humane way for you to die. And if you could choose to die like that, you should. Well, Jeff and I, we would have been married 42 years this year. In fact, a month after he died, we were 42 years married. He was a great adventurer. His dream would have been to go up Everest in a t-shirt without oxygen and in sand shoes, that kind of stuff. Gorgeous one here, I love this one. Hallie's looking so lovingly up at him, and then he's looking so lovingly down at her. Jeff was denying that he was going to die, so he didn't want to die, but he knew that he was going to underneath it all, but he didn't want to talk about it. But it was a very open discussion about the fact that we weren't going to go and have more treatment. There is this excessive push for the miracle treatment that might work. And if we did this to Jeff and we did that to Jeff and we could zap him with this and we'd do, And, you know, really, that's not helpful. We were referred to Silver Chain Hospice. You know, we were just there with him all the time, you know, caressing him and wetting his lips, with the grandchildren on the end of the bed bouncing up and down and giving him cuddles and all those sorts of things. Being in a hospital, you just don't have that opportunity. You know, it's somebody else who's doing that and you're just there sitting there wondering what to do and should you do this or should you do that. This wasn't about a medical event, it was a social event. It was a social and emotional event in our family, and I think that we will treasure it for the rest of our lives, actually. To me, that's good care. And I think that should be the national conversation.
I think a lot of patients and their families would say, yes, I want to die at home, but not realize what it actually means to want to die at home. I'm Richard Chai, I'm Director of the Sacred Heart Supportive and Palliative Care Service here at St Vincent's Hospital. We want to make that rocky journey as smooth as possible. When they come into an inpatient unit, then the family are allowed to be a family. A wife is allowed to be a wife. A daughter is allowed to be a daughter, rather than being a nurse at home. A good death is having that choice about where they want to be looked after. Are you still coughing up things?
Not today, you're probably only about half a dozen times.
All right, I can provide quite a lot of palliative care for patients in the public hospitals, in the private hospitals, in the nursing homes, in their own homes.
Good. Open your mouth. Good. And again.
But unfortunately, palliative care services are really dependent on postcode. It depends on where you live. And you go further afield from Sydney, then you may be left with a nurse. Full stop.
Good. And we'll just go for a little walk and see how far you can go.
Dying at home is not always available, not always possible for patients. At the moment, the financial incentives, or can I say, the financial disincentives are very strong.
If you ask the community where they wish to die and they say at home, then that's what needs to be supported by policy and funding. 70% of our patients who died at home here in Perth. But what we find when we look at the numbers across the typical patient journey, on average, is that we're providing less than 1 hour of care per person per day. Now, if we carry on at the current rate, we're going to have to build hospital after hospital after hospital, and those buildings will be full of people who are in the last year of their life. It makes no sense.
Hi, my name's Tony Bingham. I have pancreatic cancer. 8 days and I turned 35. So, unfortunately, it's not good being young, but you deal with it. My partner makes it as easy as it can be.
He was the bouncer at my local pub. We were mates, like we started off as mates before we actually made a relationship out of it, and it was nothing but fun and laughter, and it was great. It still is great. Oh, it was the worst day ever. We'd been told that it was gallstones, a big possibility it was just gallstones. I was 5 minutes down the road when Tony called me upset, telling me to come back to the hospital and that he had cancer. Tony went into chemotherapy with his head held high. I'm going to beat this. The first one failed, then the second, then the third, and then we were told there was no more treatment, and then we were told that there was 3 weeks to live. Silver Chain's fantastic. The second we got out of hospital, the next day we had his bed ready for him. He had his chair, he had his table, everything he wanted. Straight in and comfortable. Anything he's needed, he's just talked to his nurse and it's been here the next day.
The hospital is good, and you get a lot of help there, and you get it pretty fast. If it was time, I'd rather be at home than at the hospital if it was time.
The reality for clients that are referred to our service is they come to our service knowing that they're at the end of their life. But that doesn't mean that from the point of referral that their life has ended. We provide the opportunity for them to make the best of that last period of their life.
Australia can afford this, and it should. And it might make a lot of difference to a huge number of people.
I've got to go, I'm still here. I'm kicking. That's what I want. We're about to get married in 10 days. Is it 10 days? I can't wait for that. 10 days is got to come soon enough.
3 weeks is almost up, and the nurses are saying that Tony doesn't look good and there's a chance he won't make his wedding, but
I'm making it.
He's making it. It's going to be like, what's at our wedding, isn't it?
You're my girl pink.
You're my boy blue. He's everything to me.